Hey, Mom! The luck of the Irish certainly was not with me on this craft. Mistakes were made, but mistakes were also corrected. On this tutorial, I'm leaving in the mistakes so that you can see how to correct them, and more importantly, so that you can see that crafting is never perfect. I've made Deco-Mesh wreaths before, but each wreath is different, and you have to be able to adapt. With patience, you can still pull off a stunning completed project. Okay, let's get crafting, and remember, if we can do it, so can you.
For this St. Patrick's Day wreath, we're using a 14-inch wreath frame, 10-inch by 10-yard decorative mesh from Walmart, 9-foot decorative mesh from Dollar Tree, and some pipe cleaners from Dollar Tree, and then some decorations from Dollar Tree. Let's get started.
So I'm going to go through how to make a bubble method Deco-Mesh wreath and the bells that were going off knowing that I was making mistakes. So the way you want to start is you want to take the pipe cleaners and twist them around the inner ring and the outer ring of the wreath form. Usually I'll put 2 per section on the inner ring and 2 per section on the outer ring, but I didn't have enough Deco-Mesh, so I was already kind of being stingy, and I was only putting 1 on the inside and 1 on the outside, and that was a mistake. You see, the problem started when I went to Walmart to get this Deco-Mesh. They didn't have 2 rolls. I wanted 2 rolls. So I said, okay, I can make it work with 1 roll. It's 10 yards. Let's give it a go. It's a 14-inch frame. We can do this. But here I can already see that I have a problem. So the way you do the bubble method is you start with the first pipe cleaner and you twist it around, and then you kind of like just bubble it up, and you go to the next pipe cleaner. You start in the middle ring and you go all the way around, and then when you go get to the beginning, you go to the outer ring and you go all the way around. So I already knew I had a problem here because I could see the wreath form still, and I was almost completely done with all of the Deco-Mesh. But I kept pushing forward because I was hoping something would happen. No. I should have stopped. The other problem I was having is I'm always frugal with my supplies, and when I cut the pipe cleaners, I cut them into thirds. That is just way too small. So I'm struggling to put the mesh on each pipe cleaner. But still, I push forward. That is a reoccurring theme for me. I tend to be very frugal and cheap with my supplies, so it sometimes doesn't work out for me. As you can see here, I am unraveling the entire wreath. Another thing that you want to keep in mind is this particular type of Deco-Mesh is very thin, so it's very translucent. You can see through it, and when you have wreaths like that, you definitely want to put more on the wreath form to cover it so you can't see through it. So 1 roll just was not gonna work, and I should have realized that from the beginning. Okay, so don't be afraid to take it apart and start over.
Okay, so we're gonna try this again. We're not gonna be stingy with the pipe cleaners. We've learned our lesson. We're just gonna cut them in half, because I just can't use, can't use a whole pipe cleaner. It's ridiculous. Also, I took all of the pipe cleaners off also because I want to double up. It just wasn't thick enough for me. So, let's do this in half. That should be about 24. So I'm gonna go ahead and put all 24 around. 2 on the inside, 2 on the outside, all 6 parts. Sound good? Sounds good. Alright, let's try that again.
So I am attempting to correct the thinness of the wreath by going back to my original way of doing it, which is putting 2 on the inside and 2 on the outside for each section. But I'm still thinking that it's very thin. So here's how it looks once you get all those 24 pipe cleaners on there, and I start putting the mesh on, and I'm looking at it. You see I'm like kind of fluffing it and like spacing it and wondering if it's gonna still be too transparent, but I keep foraging ahead. That's kind of like a theme with me, and sometimes it's great and sometimes it wastes a lot of time. So to be honest, it doesn't take long to make a wreath like this, and it's a really great result, so it's worth trying. So here I go, and I'm going to put all 24 of those on there. I'm still thinking that it's thin and maybe I need to put an inner ring or something, but you know, I'm just gonna keep going forward. Keep in mind, I'm short on mesh here.
So I'm gonna add this because this is too thin for me. I'm gonna put this in the middle, and I will, it's only 5 yards too, so I'm only gonna go once around, so I'll be back when that's done.
So you can see that after I finished that whole roll of mesh, it looked kind of anemic still. So luckily for me, I went my stash, and I did have some mesh that kind of matched a little bit darker, and that was great because it helped cover up the frame. Now this is the final mesh that I'm using, that dark green. I actually wound up using 2 rolls of it, by the way, because it was only 5 yards each roll. I put it on the 2 inner rings. And the way you do that normally is you would go around to the pipe cleaners and that you already used, and you just twist it around on this. What I found was that the mesh was very thin and flimsy, so I kind of just draped that ribbon over the previous mesh, and it kind of made this kind of nice looking pattern. So we adapted. That was great. Once that was done, I couldn't see the frame through it. I was very happy with how it was looking and the halo effect of the outer ring that didn't have the dark green on there. I ran out of dark green. And so the only thing left to do was to add my embellishments. I was going to put a bow, but it seemed kind of too busy, and I just wanted to go for the simple effect of all the Lucky Charms on the wreath form. So yeah, that's how you can push through and still come out with a stunning craft, even in the face of mistakes. So to kind of wrap everything up, I kind of have 3 lessons that you can take from this craft. Number 1, go with your gut. If it's feeling like something's off, something's probably off. Number 2, don't be stingy with your supplies. I'm probably going to be stingy again. That's just my nature. My mother's the same exact way. Number 3, be able to adapt. As long as you keep working on it, you'll find a solution. So just keep at it. And that's how you do it. Like, subscribe, comment, and remember, if we can do it, so can you.